Good morning, students. This is the top chapter 11 for class 7, Transportation and Excretion, and this will be discussing about these two words only in depth and in detail actually. So, basically, first of all, what is the meaning of transportation? Is like just simply, as you can understand, is the transferring of substances like from one place to another in our body, and excretion is nothing but the removal of waste products from our body. So, if you are studying about transportation, first we need to understand about the single-celled organism, like for example, paramecium and amoeba, right? So basically that cell itself start behaving as an organism, right? So basically in those organisms which have a single cell in the body and that itself is behaving as an organism, diffusion is the prime process with which it is happening, right? So there are no specially developed organs in those things, right? But as far as humans are concerned, like which are a complex level of organism, we have a system that is called a circulatory system, right? And that is the primary source of source or like primarily responsible for the transportation of substance in our body, right? And now like we need, as far as transportation is concerned, what exactly is getting transported in our body is like different number of things, right? For example, carbon dioxide is there, oxygen is there, right? Carbon dioxide is produced in each and every cell of our body. It needs to be exhaled outside, right? Similarly, oxygen needs to be distributed to each and every cells of the body, right? Apart from that, when digestion was occurring, after that we had the option, we had this phenomena that was called as absorption. So after the absorption, each should be the food, or you can say the simple nutrients should be transported to each and every cell of the body. So that is basically it is happening, right? So in humans, this entire system is called as circulatory system, because that is exactly that is what is doing the function of these things, right? So what exactly it is doing? First of all, it is doing the distribution of nutrients from your small intestine to all the parts of the body. Then respiratory gas is like oxygen is distributed to the cells. Then from cells, carbon dioxide is taken to the lungs so that it can exhale out. And apart from that, there are different type of waste products being produced in our body. Then it needs to be like removed, right? So basically, in humans, if you are talking about the circulatory system, it is of divided into three parts. All right, first is your heart, blood, and blood vessels. So we'll be studying in depth about the first each and everything. So first we'll be starting with the blood. So blood is something that you would have seen, you would have got hurt while playing. Sometimes तो आपने देखा है कि खून बाहर आता है आपका. The blood is nothing but a red colored liquid which is continuously flowing in your body, right? अब अगर हम ब्लड की भी देखें तो ब्लड के भी हमारे दो पार्ट्स होते हैं. Remember that circulatory system is divided into three parts, and blood, heart, and blood vessels. And blood is again divided into two parts, right? Basically, first part is a liquid part. We know that blood is basically a liquid thing. So in that, we are distinguishing the liquid part is called as your blood plasma, and the solid component which is present in the blood that we cannot see or we cannot feel is called as your blood corpuscles, or you can say blood cells, right? So if I'm talking about the liquid part, it is nothing but the water only, primarily 90% water, and some amount of minerals being dissolved in that. But as far as those things are concerned, like the cells part, or you can say blood corpuscles, there are three type of cells which are present in your body, right? So it is basically red blood cells, white blood cells, and your platelets, right? And red blood cells are the ones which exactly give you the color. They are very much in number, and they are the one which give you the primary red color of your blood, right? So that's why they are called as red blood cells. Then white blood cells are there, they're basically white in color. Then we have platelets, which are very very small in size, right? And studying in detail about those things, why exactly red blood cell is red actually is because of the protein called as hemoglobin that we have encountered in the previous chapters also, is present inside these RBCs, and that is responsible for carrying of oxygen from you can say from your lungs to your all the cells of the body, right? Then as far as WBC is concerned, WBC is primarily responsible for fighting against any sort of infection, right? If you have encountered any bacteria or any foreign substance gets into your body, right? It needs to be removed, or you can say damaged, so that it might cause you any sort of infection. So they are the one which actually fight against any sort of infection, right? Then we have platelets. Platelets are something which are responsible for the blood clotting, right? You would have seen like if you got a in minor injury, right, scratches you would have got, then you will get this coating on your that injured part, that is actually called as blood clot. So to avoid blood losses, like if you might get a simple injury, अगर आपका खून बहता रहेगा तो blood loss काफी हो जाएगा आपकी body से. To stop this waste of blood, or you can say the loss of blood from our body, platelets are responsible. And there are certain set of functions that each blood is doing, right? So first is like the transportation of digested food, We know that blood के through ही हमारा जो खाना होगा जो आपका digest हो चुका है, it should be transported to each and every parts. That is done with the help of blood, right? And after that, they are responsible for they'll carry all the waste products to the kidney, and they'll be filtered out there. Then after that, they are responsible for transport it is responsible for the transportation of oxygen to cells of the body and carbon dioxide from cells to the lungs of the body, right? Helps in fighting body from infection. That is primarily your WBC is doing, right? And as far as the carrying of oxygen was done, we were discussing about RBC, because RBC के अंदर आपका hemoglobin present रहता है, right? Then moving on to the next component of your blood vessels, of your circulatory system, is your blood vessels. They are nothing but a sort of tube, right? Actually, so there are three type of blood vessels. Again, you have arteries, we have veins, and we have capillaries, right? So how they are distinguished? Actually, arteries are the one which carry blood from your heart to the different parts of the body, right? Basically, and they contain oxygenated blood, except this pulmonary artery. We'll see in the detail in the next upcoming topics, right? So arteries are something which carry, they are a sort of tube which carry like your heart from your sorry blood from your heart to your different organs of the body, and they contain oxygenated blood except your uh, pulmonary artery. And remember this, cause heart is basically nothing act as a pump in your body, right? So the vessels or the tubes which are emerging out from the heart are supposed to have a thick muscular walls, so that they would not get ruptured, right? तो इनकी walls काफी thick होती हैं और आपकी body के काफी अंदर रहती हैं, right? Then we have next one as the veins, right? And the veins are something which contain deoxygenated blood, and they carry blood from your organs to your heart, actually, right? Okay, now they contain valve actually. The reason for the presence of valve in them is simple as that, because when oxygen is being coming out from your organs to your heart actually, they should not go back to your heart actually, or to your respective organs, because that oxygen had been used, right? And the blood which is there in the veins is your oxygen deoxygenated blood. That is the one which is not having oxygen. So it should not again be transported to your organs, right? So that's why they have valves, so that the direction is maintained in a uniform way for the flowing blood. Okay, then we have capillaries. Capillaries are the like the point of intersection, or you can say that they are something small tubes which are present, which act as a sort of link between the arteries and veins, right? So once a artery will carry oxygenated blood to your particular organ, right, and that oxygen, then oxygen will go from your oxygen will be getting into your organ through the process of diffusion, and carbon dioxide will be getting into your some vessels, and those vessels are your capillaries. So it is a network which is formed in between your arteries and veins, and that is a very 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 small, you can say, right? They are extremely small in their cross section area, right? Now moving on to the most complex part of your circulatory system is your heart, right? And as far as heart is concerned, we know that it is a muscular organ. So it is made up of basically specific type of muscles which are called as your cardiac muscles, right? And you know that your heart beat around for 60 to 80 times per minute. Like in a minute, if you just keep your hand on your chest, you can feel the heartbeat, right? It's around 60 to 80. So basically, heart is divided into four chambers. So basically, the upper chambers are called as auricle, and the lower chambers are called as your ventricle. And this is the actual diagram. If you can see, this is the right auricle, this is the left auricle, and here we have ventricle, and we have left ventricle. Sorry, right ventricle, left ventricle. Upper two chambers are called as auricles. Lower chambers are called as ventricles, right? And they are connected with the help of valve, actually, right? And now there is this thing, your heart is present basically in the left side of your thoracic cavity, that is your chest cavity, in a bag like structure you can call as pericardium, right? It's nothing but a sac like structure in which your heart is present, right? And the auricles and ventricles, the wall which is present in between them, is your septa, is made up of again of some muscles which is called a septa, again a very hard muscle, right? Now what thing that you have to remember is like, to understand the circulation of blood through your heart, is like the right side of the heart contains your deoxygenated blood. राइट साइड यानी कि राइट ऑरिकल और वेंट्रिकल में कैसा ब्लड रहेगा आपका डीऑक्सीजनेटेड, एंड लेफ्ट ऑरिकल एंड लेफ्ट वेंट्रिकल विल कंटेन द ब्लड which is your oxygenated, means the one which is rich in your oxygen. Now this is something that you have to understand, right? This is your right auricle and right ventricle, left auricle and left ventricle. So this is the portion which will containing your deoxygenated blood, right? Okay, and this is the one which is containing your oxygenated blood. So if you have to understand, just understand the concept like from lungs, Pulmonary vein will be carrying the blood which will be rich in oxygen and will come to your left auricle. Okay, then through from left auricle it will go to your left ventricle. From left ventricle, like when the heart will pump, right, it will go to your body organs, right. Then from body organs, after the respiration had taken place, oxygen will be used and carbon dioxide will be given out. That blood will come to your right auricle, then will go to your right ventricle, and again after some contraction relaxation will go to your lungs. So this is a cycle that always flows, right? Lungs to left auricle and left ventricle, then it will go to organs, then again right auricle, right ventricle, and will go to your again go to your back to your lungs for the process of oxygenation. So one definition might come that what is oxygenation? It is nothing but again the enriching the blood with more amount of oxygen is called as oxygenation, and it occurs in your lungs because we know that through alveoli, like blood would be like blood would will be having more amount of oxygen through the process of diffusion, right, through the capillaries which are surrounding the alveoli. Right now, as we know that like heart is a muscular organ, and how do muscles work? We know that they always follow this process that is called as contraction and relaxation, right. So what happens that we have to understand during relaxation, means when there is no sort of सिकुड़ना, जब आपका रिलैक्स रहेगा तो उस टाइम पे क्या होगा, right, that a deoxygenated blood will be received from where, like from where it will go from your body organs to your right auricle, and then again it will not be moving, right. And after that again the contraction will be happening. When the contraction will happen, blood will be pushed out from right ventricle to the lungs, and same concept is being happily applied here, right. So it's like when contraction relaxation is happening, it's like sound is there, one lumped up sound. तो ये ऐसे होगा कुछ, राइट. जब ये सिकुड़ जाएगा तो उस टाइम पे क्या हो रहा होगा, ब्लड पुश होगा, आपके हार्ट से बाहर होगा, और जब ये रिलैक्स करेगा तब ब्लड आपके हार्ट के अंदर फ्लो करेगा, राइट. देन मूविंग ऑन, हार्ट बीट एंड पल्स इज देयर, राइट. इट्स लाइक वी नो heart pumps blood due to the rhythmic contraction. Basically, it is nothing happening, but the only the contraction and relaxation part is happening, which is almost 60 to 70 or 80 times per minute, right? So this one contraction and relaxation of your heart is called as your heartbeat, right? And this is normally measured by the doctors with the help of this device that is called a stethoscope. And when blood is being pushed into your arteries, basically, then one pulsating sensation is there that can be felt in some areas like your behind your ear, then in your wrist, right, and that is called as pulse. So it's nothing, they are not different like heartbeat and pulse. Heartbeat is like directly if you're measuring here, and pulse is something like which can be measured like behind your ear, on your or in your wrist also, right. Now, moving on to the next topic, that is your excretion, is the process of removal of your metabolic wastes from your body, right? It's what metabolic, like you know that there are different type of processes which are happening inside your body, like for example, respiration, digestion, and all. So continuously waste, some sort of substances are being produced, and if they are not like removed from your body, they might cause some like they'll be having some adverse effects on your body. Just imagine if you are not able to like uh, to hey, go toilet like for a 1 or 2 days span, ultimately you'll start feeling sick. So excretion is a like broad word which means the removal of unwanted or waste materials from your body. So as far as animal for different animals are there, we know like single celled organisms, again the process of diffusion will be there. When the amount of some unwanted products will be increased in the body, the concentration will increase, it will directly be expelled out through their cell wall. And then after that we have animals which can be divided into three categories like a monotelic, uricotelic, and ureotelic. Basically the percentage of wastes which are being present uh, uh, in the waste, percentage of waste is like depending upon the amount of percentage of wastes they are classified. Like for example, monotelic are the organisms like fishes. Basically when they are removing or when they are passing out the feces or urine and all that contain more amount of ammonia, so they are called as a monotonic. Then uric acid is something which is present in the your birds wastes, so they are called as uricotelic, mostly reptiles and amphibians also. Then ureotelic, like human beings are comes under this category because when we excrete, the chief component that is present is your urea, right. Now talking about humans, we know that we have studied egestion is nothing but like when undigested food is there, right. Normally every day we go to the toilet in the morning, so it's like the undigested food which is not of any use, right, it is going away from your body, that is called egestion. So egestion again comes under excretion. Then is second one that is you would have heard is an exhalation, sorry, like breathing, the second part. So that time, that carbon dioxide which was being produced during respiration inside your body, that has to be expelled outside. And again, there is exhalation, again comes under your excretion. Sweating is again like sweating is nothing but the loss of extra water, excess water that is present inside your body. And normally that happens more during the summer season, or like hotter month you can say. It's like your wastes are being will be being removed from your body, right? That is called as sweating. Now next comes your excretion, right? Okay. Okay. Basically in humans it is nothing but the removal of mainly chiefly the nitrogenous waste, means the waste which is basically rich in nitrogen containing compounds, right? अब हम देखते हैं, अगर we are discussing about urine. So basically in urine, if you say 95% is nothing but your water only, and the remaining portion is contains your urea. Right. So basically, there are a certain set of organs which are involved in this process that is called as excretion, right? So what are those? Like we know kidneys are there, urinary bladder, and urethra. So what are kidney? Again, some bean-shaped organ, right? And that is why that rajma is there. Rajma, अगर हम जानते हैं उसको, राजमा को हम लोग क्या बोलते हैं? Kidney bean बोलते हैं, right? Basically reason is that only, exactly if you look at rajma, right, too, if you keep exactly the shape of kidney will be there, right? So they are something which are brownish in color, and they are present, they are in pair actually, right? Okay, जो vertebral column होता है आपका, जो back, आप समझ सकते हैं सिंबल, लाइक बेसिकली आपके जो बैकबोन है, बैकबोन के लोअर साइड में दो आपके प्रेजेंट रहते हैं, एक राइट में एक आपका लेफ्ट में प्रेजेंट रहता है, एंड ईच किडनी कंटेन ए लॉट ऑफ लार्ज नंबर ऑफ nephrons, right? Now from kidneys, the tubes will be coming outside and will go to the urinary bladder, and those tubes which are coming outside are called as ureters, and then finally the water will be stored in your urinary bladder unless it is being passed out, right? So this is something like, this is kidney. If you have look clearly, this is one kidney, this is one more kidney, and here they have just cut the kidney and they are showing you the cross sectional area, and you can see multiple number of nephrons are there, right? So if you magnify in this or try to zoom in, you will see more of nephrons present over here. And after that, those two tubes you can see, right? Basically two tubes are there. These are called as ureters, and they'll be going to an organ that is called as urinary bladder, and finally they'll be coming outside with the help of urethra. This is the opening, right? And you might be thinking, what are these red and क्या कहते हैं bluish color things, right? They are nothing but the arteries and veins, cause your blood needs to be filtered actually, and kidneys are the primarily the organ which filters the blood actually. So and in kidney also, if we say like kidney हमारा blood filter कर रहे हैं, but kidney के अंदर भी हम जानते हैं कि हमारे, I guess, millions number of nephrons are there, and those act as a filtering unit. So kidneys are the filtering organ. Kidneys are the filtering organ. But if someone asks what is the filtering unit, they are nothing but your nephrons, which are present in millions in number in each kidney, right? Right. Okay. Okay. Now, what happens, like the importance of urine? Okay. Like if you test the urine of a person you would have encountered, if you go to a doctor, they will recommend for some certain level of test actually. So if you test the urine, depending upon the some amount of percentage of substances which are being present, you can tell like if a person is suffering from a particular type of disease. For example, if too much of glucose is present, then we say like it's a diabetes mellitus. And if a large amount of water is means the percentage of water is more in the urine, we know that 95%. If it is exceeding, then that we say that it's a diabetes insipidus. That we'll be discussing in the class. So we'll be having a story like what is diabetes. You would have encountered diabetes only, but there are two types actually, mellitus and insipidus. Okay, that we'll be discussing in the class. And if some amount of blood is present in the like urine, you might see some sort of ulcer or infection is there in your body. Cause of that, your blood is coming out along with urine, right? Now the person, like the important thing about kidney is like they are acting as a filtering unit for your blood. बेसिकली आपकी ब्लड को फिल्टर कर रहे हैं आपके। तो अगर आपके किडनी में कभी कोई दिक्कत हो जाती है तो आप क्या करते हैं, वी हैव दिस प्रोसेस दैट इज कॉल्ड एज डायलिसिस, राइट? So a machine, one machine is there, like from one machine, and we'll take out the one directly instead of because the kidneys are not functioning, like we'll take out the blood from your body and directly will fed it to your dialysis machine, and again the like after the blood is being filtered out, will be sent back to your body, right? Now comes transportation in plants, right? now again we know that transportation plants will also be occurring, right? For example, you know that when we are giving water, basically we give water to the roots, and when the food is being prepared, normally it is being prepared in the leaves, right? So आप जानते हैं खाने का और पानी का ट्रांसफर आपके प्लांट्स, और खाने और पानी का दोनों का ट्रांसफर आपके प्लांट्स में भी होगा, right? Right. Okay. Now, basically there are two types of tubes which are present, right? In you can say plants, right? And if we cut the plant, if we cut a tree, basically you can see the cross section area. So this is nothing but a cross section area that they have shown, right? So this is xylem, the central yellowish portion, and this is the dark brownish color is your phloem actually. So xylem, you know that is primarily responsible for the carrying up of water, right? So it is also called as the ascent of sap actually. Basically the transpiration is a process which creates a more amount of pressure, cause of which water will go out upwards, right? And phylum are something which are responsible for carrying of food from your leaves to the different parts, right? And this is called as translocation. Now to understand transpiration, what is exactly is happening is nothing but we know कि transpiration is nothing but the loss of water. Like जितना भी आप पानी प्लांट में डालते हैं, they 95% of that water when you are giving watering the plants is waste actually. They utilize 4 to 5% of that only. So हो क्या रहा है आप देखिए जरा कि अब जो पानी का लॉस कंटिन्यूसली हो रहा है, राइट? द जाइलम एक्ट एज ए स्ट्रॉ बेसिकली, राइट? अब ये स्ट्रॉ की तरह कैसे काम कर रहे हैं? बेसिकली व्हेन वी हैव अ ट्यूब लाइक स्ट्रक्चर एंड सम ट्रांसपिरेशन पुल इज देयर, वन ट्रांसपिरेशन, one sort of pressure is there which will pull out the, like what you do in a straw, you just suck out, or you can say you are sort of pulling out the liquid or a cold drink from a bottle. So this transpiration will create a sort of suction pressure, and which will pull out the pull the water from the roots to the different parts, right? And if अब राइट देयर आर टू कंडीशंस, राइट? अगर ट्रांसपिरेशन के कारण काफी लॉस तो हो ही रहा है, बट राइट, नाउ वन मोर थिंग इज देयर दैट इज कॉल्ड एज विल्टिंग. सो विल्टिंग इज नथिंग बट when flowers and stem of the leaves actually it drop, this is called as wilting, right? So अगर plants ज़्यादा लॉस कर जा रहे हैं पानी को, that time with this condition occurs, right? And if anything we'll be discussing in the class. So this is for this chapter. Thank you guys.